FEEVES BTS, take one.
So me and Rolando have known each other since we were 2 years old. We say two. I actually just thought about this. We say two.
We don't really know, huh?
Yeah. There's no start date. We were born 10 days apart. You know, really close since then, and like learned music at the same time. Like just kind of figured it out. Music started very, very early, like 13, 14, like just listening to records and stuff like that, and just like getting really into it, and it kind of just stayed with us. I talk about it a little bit too much, but like the industry kind of beat us down for a little bit, and like it just evolved. This thing became something kind of gross at first, and then became something really awesome and beautiful afterward. Just by virtue of like ourselves, and like it's always been like a sounding board for, I think, where I'm at as a person. And like when I'm not healthy, this thing is super not healthy, and when I'm super healthy, this thing is a sounding board for health. And like hearing people like connect with that has been super helpful for us, because like we've this thing's been with us for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, longer than most things I've ever done, and like it's just constantly like a sounding board for where I'm at as a person. I'm like, oh, it just keeps up with it, which is really, really fun and really beautiful. You know, sharing the things I'm not proud of as well as the things I'm proud of with just anybody and everybody who would listen. So
like if you're feeling low, or like if you're in a bad season of life, you're gonna write songs that express that, and you can like share that expression with people, and if they're in that same season, they can connect with that. So no matter what, there's like a way you can like connect with people like where you're at in life, and if they're in that same space, like they can just form an instant connection, and that's what I love.
Yeah, it doesn't care about you at all.
Exactly.
And that's the thing I've always loved about it. It's like you know you're having a bad day, and you're like, I could really use a good song to get me up, and it's like I don't care. You're not gonna write this today. It's just gonna be whatever you're feeling in the moment. And like that's always been the most fun and frustrating thing about like making music and creating, is like it doesn't care about. It's just gonna come when it comes, and like you just get to be a you know, little bit of an antenna for it, and like it's gonna do what it's gonna do.
I feel like that's given us a platform to like hang out with so many people and collaborate with so many people. I can't even tell you like how many people we've collaborated with like the last 4 years.
Yeah, so just meeting and enjoying like company and community, and like trying to just be really, really, really special when we go into a room and be like, hey, this is about. We always, since we've started this, it's been like, this is about the person in front of us, not us, because like, as much as it's fun to feel cool on a stage, it's way more fun to connect with the person. I think
totally.
2 years ago, so obviously shows didn't happen. 2 years ago, like House of Blues, there was a moment, and like I looked around, and it was just so like impactful, and we just like looked around and said like, keep this and take it with you and share it with people, because this is something. We're having a moment here, and like that's always really important. I think now we feel authentic. I think when we first started this thing, it was like there was a time, man, where like FEEVES was not.
There was a point where like someone called us out on it. What did they say precisely?
Oh, okay, so it was a 13-year-old girl actually on like Twitter, and was like, we were just promoting ourselves, just self-promotion, just blatant self-promotion, and she just was like, hey, your song sounds good, but it's fake. And I was like, oh. Yeah. And just like ever since then, it just hit me where I was like, dude, it doesn't matter what you sound like or who you're trying to please. Like it matters like who you are and like what you're making, because in the end of the day, it's like, I don't want to like die with 1,000 streams and be like, or 1,000,000 streams and be like, that was cool, but I hated the song.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I'd rather just like have this catalog of stuff that I'm proud of or not proud of, but at least it was honest. I talked about some heavy stuff in the last record, and it nearly drove me crazy, like because I didn't talk to people about it yet. Like there was a lyric in a song that like it was like if my dad ever knew who I was, would he still feel the way he does? And it's just this idea that like our parents don't know who we are deeply, you know. I'm like, what would it be like if they saw that? And it's like that, sharing that before I'd even talked to my dad about it was like I had to put it there because it was important for the song, but it was one of those things I had to like move forward, and that's an uncomfortable step. So it's definitely not fun to like be authentic sometimes. And also, it's not like it happens all the time, right? I follow a lot of like skateboarders and stuff. So like I was watching some video, and like this guy, he said, all hate is self-hate and all love is self-love. And like when you get into these really like low spots, you're like, oh, it's because I don't like myself right now. And this is why I'm being like, that's why I'm looking to the left and to the right of me and being like, why can't I have that? Like, it's not comfortable to feel like that, and then to recognize the fact that it's not everyone else's problem, it's your own problem. So an interesting thing is like, I'll share something with Rolando, and Rolando is like a really good sounding board, and like that's not really the vibe, but that's the vibe. It's, you know, something along those lines. And he's really, really gracious. Like, just let me say whatever I want to say. Just like trust it. Yeah. But like by the time it gets to the like people can hear it phase, like I've probably already worked out all of that stuff. So like once it gets there and it connects with people, it's theirs. Like it's one of those things where like, here's a snapshot of where we are. Here it is for you, you know. That's why people connect with like vlogging and like the human experience. It's all just, the more you can be human, the more it connects with someone, because then they go, I'm not the only person who, you know, isn't sure what their parents would feel like if they like saw those things. And like I've had that conversation with like 10, 15 people, just them coming up to me and being blatantly honest and be like, hey, I heard that lyric and it really resonated with me, and like I haven't had a chance to like connect with that person and stuff. So it's, as far as I see it, like I'm sure you connect with that as well. Like the moment it comes out, it's done. Like that's not ours anymore. It belongs to other people, and that's cool. That's a cool feeling. That's like, that's fun. Yeah,
it really is a cool feeling, and like I really look forward to that. See how much people can like grab onto that, and like really own it. I don't know. It's what makes art beautiful. I would say.
You have to go full circle with it too, though. Like you have to get to the point where you don't take yourself too seriously, and you go like, you sweat, you stink sometimes. You're like not. There was a moment where like we were signed to like a record label and things were on the up and up, and we just had this guy just like, you know, we were in the palm of his hands, and like it was just moving up, and it was like we were getting this like moving forward, and we were just super excited, and like just we're so into ourselves. And then there was a moment where I recognized the fact that like, what's the lyric in Roses, like roses really smell like boo boo. Like it's like, you know, I'm not the dude I want to be, and I'm not even like, I can pretend to be this amazing artist and stuff like that, but the truth is I'm just a person, and I just like live and like fall and like make dumb jokes, and like once you make full circle and realize that you're not everything, then that's when you're like, okay, now I can just be honest and it doesn't matter, like either one way or the other. That's why I would have never started a song with like Sometimes Life Sucks, because I'm like, let me say that more beautifully. And now it's like, no, just resonate with the fact that it is what it is. And like, don't take yourself too seriously, but also be as honest as you can within it. So you can think that you created something when someone else is like, I resonate with that, you guys have made art. I'm like, okay,
it makes it more concrete when you like hear it from other people.
Because, you know, if you're just staring at a computer screen, you can be really sad about it. It's really easy to it's not easy to quantify connection. It's easy to quantify numbers, but it's not easy to quantify connection. And connection is what matters to me. So both of these songs came out of my bedroom. Live Forever, we finished the 2020, early 2020. It was coming out in March, like ready for March, and COVID. So then we were like, okay, don't release it yet. So then we waited and then kind of sat on it, and I was like, I just love this song so much. And this is the second one, Live Forever, and I was like, I love this song so much. And so I waited, and then
Racial Injustice.
Yeah, Racial Injustice. So we release it, and then that's when the riots and the like then everything happened after that, which it was so like impactful moment that we couldn't be like, listen to our song. So it was like we released it, and we just like, it's for you guys now. Like we can't even like, we're not even gonna say any more about it, because this, in the interest of like everything that's happening, like this, there's nothing else important besides that. And like after months passed, I listened back to the song, and I was like, man, that song really means a lot to me as a person, because like just certain like tropes within it, you know, like there are lyrics in there that I still connect with. Like I was getting really into Buddhism at the time, so like I'm no one special going nowhere, and I'm like, God, I like how that sounds, but do I? It's like the lyric, and it's like, oh, I love that so much, but like I want to feel like that, but I'm never gonna actually feel like that, and just breathe slow, you know. So it's very paradoxical. It's like I'm this, but do I? And so when that happened, and when we did that, like I was pretty much done with music. I was like, this year really showed me I don't need music. I'm gonna be done. I'm just gonna get a marketing job and be real, like a real person. And then for the most part, happened, and that was like a Sunday. Like I just like got up. It's pretty fresh. Like, this year, 2 months ago, maybe, in my room, one day, from top to bottom, and I was like, oh, this is important to me because it's important to say, you know, no matter who you are, you're all right for the most part. Which is it's this funny duality of like, because I thought like, well, not everybody's all right. Like there's some people who aren't great, and then there's also like, you're probably all right for the most part, like if you really think about it. And I thought that was a beautiful line. I thought, you know, use me like a cigarette, burn it out and toss it aside was a very like symbolic of like FEEVES. It's just like, just use it till it's done and get rid of it. And you know, I can be your alibi. Like I can be the reason, you know, you're stressing over something. Like give this a reason to be, you're out. And I think like that's what I saw FEEVES as at the moment, and I still see it because I'm still in it. It's like, you know, just use it like a cigarette. Just burn it out and toss it aside. Don't stress out too much about it. Don't think that you need to have a career, because we rub shoulders with people who just have the career and have the things, and I think the history of this thing has been like, why can't we have that? And now it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it just is. Like this exists, and it doesn't matter what's on a screen. It just matters what the connection is. And these two songs are like, I think they're sister songs in a lot of ways. Like one of them is like this, like, I feel this way, but I'm not really sure how to like deal with it. And then one of them is a year removed. It's like, I feel this way, and now I don't have to like doll it up. It just is. So I've been having this conversation with a lot of my friends lately, and I think something that like is really important to me is just discussion and like community, and like just making sure that you like work out things. We've seen a lot of things happen in the past year, like more than I ever thought I would see in my life.
In a whole lifetime.
In a whole lifetime.
Yeah.
There were things at one point where like I looked at the TV and I was like, that makes sense, but also what? So I mean, you think about all of that, and one thing that like keeps coming up is good change changes slow.
Yeah.
Good change takes a long time to happen. Bad change happens fast. Good change takes slow. And that is like a very resounding thing, and that's something that I want like us to champion as people, and us to champion as like an organization and a band, and like whatever we do in art is like, it's gonna take a while. Just let it take a while, because good change always changes slow. It always takes a lot more time to sand down a piece of wood to make it beautiful and smooth than it does to hack it to bits.
Yeah. It may be slow, but it's worth pursuing.
Absolutely.
And like, even if you look around, you're like, oh, nothing's changing. Like, just keep going forward, keep treating people with kindness and love, and just keep going. Like you said, it'll take a while, but we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Dude, I love
Thank
that.
you.
I want to end it on that one.
Sick.